Hi, everybody. How's it going? So, I got this interesting topic for me. I was speaking to someone and we were discussing going places and things like that. And the person was talking about being afraid, right? And they go places and they travel and they're afraid of different circumstances. And of course, they're like, well, you always going places, you always doing things, you always traveling. And then I was like, well, shoot, I don't have the same level of fear. And I know why I don't have the same level of fear. I have a healthy respect for areas where I know I'm not supposed to be. And when I go to some place, I always trust my intuition. If I say, hey, I think I'm going to go to Jamaica, and I get an uneasy feeling about going to Jamaica, I don't go. I have two incidences that speak to this. I was traveling with someone and we were going from Florida to multiple states up north and to other parts of like five different states to make a loop back to Florida. And that loop included going to South Carolina and from North Carolina to South Carolina. And as we were driving, we were going to stop at a store in South Carolina. And I said, no, I think we should keep going. The person and I got into an argument. We stopped at the store in South Carolina where I said, I think we should keep going. We were both black individuals. As soon as we got out, he got out actually. I didn't get out. He got out. A white man started looking at him like he was going to attack him. And he said, son, are you lost? And of course, the person I was with looked at him and looked at me like, is he talking to me? And I'm like, I told you, this wasn't a place to stop, right? Proceeded to pump the gas anyway. And we left, which literally could have made it to the next destination. Now, side note, I have been to other parts of South Carolina by myself and have not run into anything like this in those different parts of South Carolina. Mind you, it's a feeling. Certain places there are more they're not accepting or not even willing to let you get gas in peace, which was what that case was. And also there was another person looking at him off to the side of us when we were there. And I was like, if something happens, I don't know who will win a pew pew out because I don't know how many guns are involved. Let me just say that, you know. So he should have listened. He didn't. A more recent incident after that was, well, there's been a couple of incidences. There was an incident I was supposed to get on an airplane and I didn't want to get on the airplane. It was for work and I was supposed to go someplace for work and I did not want to go. And I was like, I really don't feel like doing this. And they said, you have to be there. You have to be there. And when I went to the airport, there was a delay, which meant I missed the connecting flight. And the connecting flight actually had an incident on the plane, got derailed off to the side. So I was like, I would have been on that plane, right? Nobody was terminated in that plane, but still, that was a scary situation they were in. But something happened to me when I was driving my car, and I told this story before. I was driving my car. This is part of my notary thing. I had to do a loan signing in an area, and there's, of course, in Florida, there's a lot of racist areas, and there's places where you can feel the spirit of our ancestors where they were hung and things of that nature. So I'm driving to do a loan signing, and the loan signing was supposed to be around 6 o'clock at night, and I like to do them before it gets really, really dark. And as I was driving there in the daytime, before it was really getting dark, I was following the instructions on my GPS, turned down a road that was started out being a road. Right when I turned onto the road, my gut, the pit in my stomach started going crazy, like, get out of here, don't do this, don't go this way, this is wrong. And my brain, my mind was like, oh, but the GPS says. So I continued along for a moment, and as I continued along, the road ended, and it ended up being nothing but forest. And I stopped and I started backing out. And I had to back out and turn around, go pull off to the side somewhere and call the people. And I told the couple, I said, hey, something happened and I was ended up in an area that turned into forest. He's like, the husband said, oh my God, yeah, that happens all the time, but you don't want to get stuck down in there. You'll never get out. And there's bears and all kinds of different things, right? Which I know there's bears, right? So when the husband came, I followed him to their house where I was doing the loan signing, and him and his wife took me in their four-wheeler just so that I could see the other side of where I was headed, which was all woods, all trees, super thick, all darkness, right? And they were like, your car would have been stuck in there. And of course, there's no cell phone reception in that area either, right? So if I hadn't listened, although I listened a little bit late, but if I hadn't listened at all, I just would have been lost. Because who knows how long I would have had to be there, stuck, trying to get out or trying to, and there's no way as it got darker, I would want to get out and try to make my way up to the street with, the possibility of being mauled by a bear or something like that. So those are things that I live by. If my gut tells me it's not good, I just don't go. And I listen to myself in the form of, I will ask myself the question, should I go here? And my first response is what I go with, which is also why I have left places several times. Like when I start driving someplace and it doesn't feel right. I'll tell you the most recent thing happened. It was more recent than that. I was driving my RV and I was headed to Florida on a weekend. And I was headed to Florida and I saw something that was going on with my RV and I had to pull over. I was going to check it and stuff. And I was like, I need to get off the road, but I don't need to stop here. But I was kind of worried about it. So I pulled over. And then when I saw the place where I was at, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't need to stay here. I need to leave. But I said, let me go up to the store. And I went up to the door and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, are you from here? And he looked at me and he's like, not as far as you're concerned. Right? I don't know what he thought or what the reason was, but that was his response to me. No worries. You don't have to tell me twice. I got back in my RV that was giving me some problems and I turned around and I went back where I wanted to go to start with. And I made it to that point before my RV completely gave out, right? I got exactly where I needed to go and my RV was like, I'm done. And then I, ended up getting things worked on. But I knew that staying in that location would not be good for me. Not even to stay overnight in my RV. And this was in the daytime when I went there, right? Because there's different places where you have a preponderance of people. So I have a healthy respect and a healthy level of fear, but I'm not completely afraid because I trust that I will be guided towards the right decision for my life. I trust that I have a level of protection in my life, that when I'm going certain places, that there definitely would be something covering me, something watching over me, or someone's watching over me, right? And my guidance will help me. My intuition will help me go to right places. So that's how I operate. Long story, but it's just that kind of day. Have a great Tuesday.